Hey guys, I'm back from my little break. Doctor gave me a clean bill of health, so I'm ready to get back to work on the WhiteWall special. On today's episode, we're going to work on getting all the pulleys mounted back onto this engine. I got all the brackets painted off screen. Also, I'm going to work on getting the fitting made for the back of this intake for the vacuum. I want to get these manifolds off of this engine. Main reason I want to do that is I want to paint them and put them on this engine so I don't have to mess with my exhaust or anything. Also, I just picked up my 3D printed valve cover, and this is the prototype of what the final valve cover will look like. My friend Chris did all the 3D printing, and he just does it out of his house, and he did a phenomenal job. I kind of want to take you guys along on that process, and I will do that in a future episode on what we went through to get this final product. This is going to go to the sandcaster and get final sandcasted in aluminum when we're all done. We got to do it just a teeny bit more tweaking, but it's coming out nice and it fits the head perfectly. With that being said, I'm WhiteWall Steve, and thanks for tuning in to the Good Enough Garage. Okay, so first things first, let's get to work on getting all these brackets on this engine and get all the accessories on here. So let's get to it. Okay, got all the pulleys put on the engine. All the brackets are on. Everything's pretty much good to go how we're going to use it, except for that alternator. That alternator is basically just a mock-up. I'm going to get a polished one with a black pulley to match the AC compressor eventually. But for now, that'll be able to get us our belt sizes and everything there. So next up, I want to get over to the old engine and get the stuff off of that I need to do. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll be right back with that stuff off of this engine. Okay guys, so here's where I'm at right now. This is a mock-up intake that I got from a friend, donated to the channel. Big thanks to Sergio for donating that. Basically what I did was, there was this spot right here, I drilled this hole. It basically looked like this, it was just a flat spot. But I drilled it with a 2764 drill, and I tapped it with a 1/4 inch NPT to accept this bung that came out of the original intake for the vacuum brake booster line. Let's get that upper intake off and get it tapped just like this one, and I'll bring you guys along for the whole process. Okay, I got this intake off, and as you can see, that's just a blocked off area, just a flat spot. So I'm going to get this drilled out, and we're going to go ahead and get it tapped so it can accept this, and then we'll see how it interacts with that second throttle body. I want to get it right dead nuts in the middle. And what I like to do is, instead of going with the big drill bit right away, just find yourself a nice small bit. Drill your big hole. Okay, take our tap. Now I don't have the actual tap handle for this. A 7/16 wrench fits on there just fine. Try to keep it as straight as possible and just run it in there. Now we'll just back it back out. And there you go. And this should fit in there really nicely. Boom. Originally, this right here was the original port for the vacuum on this intake. I made up this block-off plate for it. The throttle body sits on it. So let's grab the other throttle body. See how she fits up. Clears it perfectly, actually. So let's get this back on the engine, and that is all done. That was one of my biggest concerns about this project, was I had nowhere for vacuum to go, but now we have it. Okay, got that upper intake back on the lower intake, and we have a port for the vacuum brake booster. But I want to take a second, tell you about our sponsor, Cruising Classics Agency. They deal in Grundy Collector car insurance. So if you have a special vehicle that you take pride in, you definitely need to get Grundy insurance on that vehicle. They do an agreed value, and they take care of anybody who has a collector car or a classic car. My WhiteWall Special is insured through them. The Low Vet is insured through them. Velma and April over at Cruising Classics Agency, they know everything there is to know about collector car insurance and classic car insurance through Grundy. She's licensed in Michigan, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, and Kansas. And if you happen to not be in one of those states, Grundy Insurance insures in all 50 states. So give her a call anyway, and if she can't insure you because you're out of her states, she can get you in touch with somebody who can help you get Grundy Insurance. Check them out, cruisingclassicsagency.com, or call them at their number, 734-231-0230. Check them out. Grundy Insurance. Always a good decision. Okay, so I got the manifolds all painted. I did, however, make a small screw up where I bolted all this stuff on the engine and forgot to put water pump gaskets on. So I'm going to work on getting that done. I'm going to get these manifolds on. Did find out an interesting little tidbit. When I pulled these manifolds off the old engine, there was no gasket. There was nothing there. It was metal to metal. And I learned that from the factory, they machined them so nice that you wouldn't get leaks, so you could mount them right to each other. But over time, you get warping, little teeny weeny warps in it or whatever. But I went and hit up the auto parts store and got some gaskets. And I'm going to work on getting that done for the engine, get the manifolds on, get all this accessories back off, get water pump gaskets on this thing. What do you say we get started and get this thing all set so that this engine is ready to roll? got the manifolds back on. I got gaskets on the water pump, and the engine is pretty much set. I'm actually going to take this valve cover back off because I don't really want to ruin it when we're trying to put the engine in. So I'm going to set this over to the side. There's a few more things we got to do before we get ready to install it. I'm putting an external oil filter on, so I need to get lines made for that. Next up, we're going to get the truck back in here. I'm going to get it jacked up, get all the wheels off, and we're going to bleed these brakes. What do you say we get that truck in here and get it jacked up?
Take it real soon. You know we got what you need.
Okay, truck's all jacked up, wheels are all off. So let me pull you guys in real quick, and I'm going to show you how to start your bleeding process when you're starting with a fresh system. So come on in and check this out. Okay, when you're getting ready to bleed brakes, you always want to start on the farthest wheel away from the master cylinder. On the rear brakes, that right there, that's your bleeder. So you want to get those all cracked open. On the rear, they're drums, so that's what they look like. In the front is right there on your calipers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break every bleeder and wait till I get fluid coming through it, then close them all up, and then we'll start the bleeding process. I have to get somebody over here to push on the brake pedal. Okay, and we got the brakes all bled. Everything's good. Big thanks to Dad for helping. Don't know exactly how good they are until we get this thing rolling, but at least we got something to start with. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always up to date on what's going on in the garage. Next episode, we're going to be putting the engine in. So thanks for tuning in to the Good Enough Garage. And that's good enough.